So some people have been claiming that my girlfriend doesn't exist. I wanted to address those claims. Sorry, I'm kind of sick today, as I am every day, I guess. So before we get into the claim itself, I just want to tackle the logic underlying the argument of girlfriend does not exist. You can't claim that. You can't claim that something does not exist. That's not how causal evidence in this reality works, right? So you can only claim that there's no evidence of something existing. That's a very different thing than claiming something does not exist, right? So, for instance, I can't say God does not exist. I can just say that there's no evidence of God. And I think that's very clear. But some people, despite there being no evidence of God, some people still very much believe God exists. In fact, they believe God exists as much as they believe anything else exists. And so for them, does God exist? And the question's even more complex than that, because then you can ask, does it even matter whether or not God exists if they live as though God does? Right? That's a question you can ask as well. And my response would be, well, it doesn't matter. In fact, it doesn't matter that anything exists. It only matters that we live as though something does. For instance, I'm just going to take a random thing. My can of Diet Dr. Pepper, caffeine free. Not sponsored, unfortunately. Does this exist? Well, it sure does to me because it tastes pretty good. But perhaps this is CGI. You can't verify this thing's existence other than it appears on camera. So you see it. But, well, nowadays, I could easily have faked this. It's not even that hard. So, does it exist? Does it matter that it exists? You believe it exists. I believe it exists. We can live as though it does exist. And therefore, that will shape our lives. And that's really all that matters. How our lives are shaped by our beliefs. So that brings us back to the claim itself. They're claiming that my girlfriend does not exist. Again, you can't claim something doesn't exist, but we're ignoring that for a second. You believe my girlfriend existed. Most of you did. 90+% people believed that. And perhaps I believed that for a time as well. And so we feel as though she does. We live as though she does. Our lives are shaped. The people who watch this channel, their lives are shaped. My life is shaped by our belief that my girlfriend exists. Now, does she? It doesn't matter. Does God? It doesn't matter. We live as though she does. Unfortunately, I blocked her on my phone yesternight because I don't really know. And it doesn't matter that I don't know, because I did, and that's the end of it. So did she ever exist? Does she exist? What's happening? These are all questions one can pose, but ultimately not important. What you need to ask yourself is, with the information you now have, that it's over anyway, perhaps it's just best for us to all move on to a new tomorrow